What up, everybody? You're here with another Pinche Podcast. This is Lobo, and I have in this series, this will be episode 2 of A Model's View with Blessed Monique.
Hey,
How you doing today?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, so far so good. So let's get started. Give a little introduction. Your name, your IG, handle if you want, and then how long have you been modeling?
Okay, so I'm Monique, and my Instagram is bless.monique. And I'm mostly just on Instagram. Oh, and TikTok too, if you want to follow me there. But I've been modeling since 2020. And I want to use the term modeling lightly. That's what other people call me,
Okay.
okay?
Modeling lightly. Is it just
Yeah.
because you just started going, or you just
Just cause I feel like I don't know what it is. If I can give my opinion, this year I feel like people. I don't know how to say it. Like some people want to say I'm a model, and some like no, you're not, and so I'm just like gonna clear that air.
okay? Okay. Well, let me get kind of into around since you've been modeling or
Yeah.
going to car shows, how many do you normally attend in a year? Like how often do you go?
When I first started, I was going a lot more than recently, but I would say like a good at least like the bigger car shows, right? At least like three, 3 to 4 years.
Okay. Okay. And since you've been doing car shows and stuff like that, what can you tell me one really good experience, like something that was like either it was just a really good car show or like something nice happened to you or something that you like are memorable but it's a positive like experience.
If I could be honest, I've been very fortunate to have really great experiences just overall. Um, I really can't think of one, but I will say what I have enjoyed about attending them.
Mm,
It's just how nice people are, and all the other models that I do come across, whether I've met them on IG and then I've got to meet them in person, and it's just like it's been such a like fun, like oh my gosh, I know you type vibe, and just definitely to all the people like very welcoming environment, and then just the whole car show vibe. I just love it. And then I think too, just traveling different places, like how me and you both got to go to Atlanta. I thought
yeah.
that was great. Yeah, so just different places like that.
Oh yeah, that's the thing, and then that was actually the first time I got to really work with you. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, but we're in Atlanta, not Cali. It's but and then with that being said, can you tell me about something, one of the worst things, or one of the like if there's something that was bad or something that
Like a
happened to
bad
you
experience or like a bad little um I probably just I really haven't had a bad experience. I can say maybe like um I get a little uncomfortable sometimes when people ask me to take pictures, and I don't mind taking pictures, but like if they're like, "Oh, bend over or something, like just do something crazy," I'm like, no, like especially at a car show, it's just kind of it's different than a photo shoot, you know?
so then yeah, it's how they direct you in the public, like taking pictures in
Yeah,
public.
and it's like aggressive sometimes, and it makes me feel a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, we'll get back to that too because that's something else I want to talk about. So one of the reasons we're doing this podcast today is there's been certain people out there in the community and now they're trying to pressure as of like this year. Really, we've for years it's been something that people have said, but this year they're trying to pressure the car show promoters into basically regulating what the models are wearing
Mhm.
and what they're doing at the shows. What do you think about that?
I think it's kind of just ironic because I feel like, I mean, for years, the models have been wearing the same thing and, kind of just similar things. It was never an issue before. So I just don't really know where it's stemming from. Like, I just kind of want to know, like, where is it stemming from?
Yeah, and then once again, so this is something where, is it really about the models, or is it just being something that they're using to try to undermine competition, and then
Mhm.
they're they're utilizing the models and saying the way they wear this and that, and it's one of the things in where I'm seeing a lot of people see it, a lot of people don't, but people that say they're all for, oh yeah, the models need to be, it needs to be a family event and so on and so forth, but we're still looking at like, what is the real motivation for making this a big point again? Because
Yeah.
we've heard this for years about the models being at the shows.
Yeah. So, and then too, I didn't even think about undermining the competition, like that aspect of it, but I was thinking too, because the only difference I see in models this year or as of recently is
Mm,
body type.
mm,
And so, and I will admit, like, types of clothing we wear, I'm not a big fan of like the stripper outfits, but if but I mean if you want to wear them, cool, but I feel like maybe that could be a kind of thing because we're just so
yeah,
used to like bikinis and type thing, and so now it's getting more eccentric or exotic, I guess. Maybe that could be the
something more
issue.
exotic. Yeah.
Yeah, that could be the issue, but I mean, I don't I don't know if them banning it, I just don't get what like regulating is gonna do. Like, what is that gonna do? Are they not gonna have girls there anymore at all? Are they gonna limit the girls or?
Well, I mean, like anything else, it's you have a group of spectators that are all for it, they're not.
Mhm.
You're gonna have a group of people that don't mind. I as a photographer walking around with the models, you're gonna either get someone, I've seen it where like you go to want to put a girl in a car, and the wife's like, or the owner
Mhm.
might be a female owner too, and they're like, nope, nope, nope. And you're like, okay,
Yeah.
no problem, not a problem.
Yeah.
And then there's the people that are, then there's the wives going, "Can you come take a picture on my husband's car?"
Yeah.
So you there's two different sides of the coin everywhere you go.
Yeah.
And I mean that, to me, I think that's it's just really on the comfort zone. And if it's going to be kind of like, I guess you could say if they promote, they're going to have all kinds of models there dressed crazy. Maybe that's when you decide whether you're going to go or not.
Yeah. Kind of like back off, but then to be devil's advocate, they would argue, why do I have to not go to certain car shows because models are going to be there? Why can't we just X out the models because it's about the cars? But I mean, I feel like, like just cars in general, like it's just models and cars just have been hand in hand for
Yeah.
years. So I don't know. It's tricky. I
Well,
mean, oh, go ahead.
no, no, but yeah, it is, and what that kind of leads into too is like, so a lot of people are like, well, we're exploiting these young women or these women, or in general, we're exploiting women. Okay, that's
Mhm.
what they're saying, or they're saying not to exploit women. But do you feel that even the concept of that for a woman that's by choice going out there, when you have like the way people post on Instagram, some of these models are out there because they have like an OnlyFans,
Mhm.
you know, um, with social media and them being able to post any content they want on social media or a website, do you feel that when they're at, is it fair to say that people are exploiting models nowadays or these women?
I don't think so. Well, no, I don't feel that way at all because I mean, it takes them physically going there themselves
Mm,
to be there in general. So I mean, if they're not wanting to be there, then that's a different issue. They gotta say something and speak up. But
yeah.
I have not met a girl that doesn't want to be there, that doesn't want the attention, that doesn't like it. They're there by their free will. So
Mm.
yeah,
Well, yeah, and
I
then obviously they're, if some models are being booked, some are freelancing, trade work maybe because of the photography, or they're just trying to be out there to be seen so that they can promote their other stuff or whatever else they got going on.
yeah,
I mean, and some are just doing it for fun.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. I mean, it's a vibe, and I just feel like I mean, if you it's a really good environment and vibe, and I can see why people want to be there, especially
Mhm.
with how much the scene has blown up in the past couple years. Like it's just a really good environment, and I feel like times are changing. Like it's always been that way though. Like I said, there's always been cars and models, but I mean I just don't know where the perspective of being against it is, and maybe it's just the body types now is just maybe too much. They're like, oh, it's too much, you know? And
Well, yeah, and I think that's like one of the things is dressing to your body type,
hmm
right?
I
And
agree with that. Yeah.
you want to flatter yourself. You want to flatter you. If a model wants to look nice, look good, or stand out, I always
hmm
say you got to wear things that flatter you, not things that don't make you. It just if it's too
hmm
tight, stuff like that. There's ways of working around everything, every type of
hmm
size, model, everything like that. Because I'm not wanting to body shaming. It's just like
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
it just. But so when we get back to what is when it comes down to these promoters and they have the shows and there's models there. Sometimes the promoters book the models and sometimes it's photographers. But where does most of the responsibility lie on how the model dresses when it comes down to that situation? There's three people involved: the promoter, the model, and the photographer.
hmm
So where do you think that a big responsibility should be as of, you know, just who's to be ready for a certain show and be prepared for what works and what doesn't, or
So
what's
I
appropriate?
feel like whoever is booking the model, they have the responsibility to kind of know what type of event it's going to be and
Mhm.
relay that to the model. And then it is ultimately up to the model what she decides she feels comfortable in or what she wants to, what her point is being there. Like you
Mm.
said, whether to stand out or, she's there for a booking and being professional. And, I mean, both are, you could be professional in both instances, but like, it's just what her point is and whether she decides to listen to. I feel like the responsibility is between the model and whoever's hiring her, those two. The event, I mean, people are just throwing the event. They can't control who's coming in, and that
Mm.
just goes for even regular, like people who aren't modeling. Like, you don't
Yeah.
know what type of issues they're going to bring in, not.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And and like for like so my point like too also is like as a photographer, I always try to be like, okay, well, oh, they want to wear this one. Well, oh, it's going to be a big show, so you want to stand out. But you know, it's you know, for me, it's like there's certain shows where you can dress, kind of like just almost casual, but look good because you don't know how it's like if I've never been to the show before, I don't know how it's gonna be. So I'm like,
Gotta feel the vibe.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you got to see, okay, well, or it's like, oh, there's a bunch of stuff with kids. So, okay, so just dress like you're going to. And one of the things I always say is like, if you're going to a barbecue, I tell the models, if you're going to a barbecue where there's a guy that you like,
Yeah. There you
going
go.
going to an outdoor event, but
Mhm.
there's somebody there you want to impress or you like, dress like that.
Yeah.
And then there's other times when there's certain events where, yeah, you can kind of dress pretty much go, close to being like a stripper or anything like that. But
Mhm.
I think that some photographers they push some of the models to try to almost be in lingerie and stuff like that because they want to be famous or they want people to look at their pictures.
Yeah.
And it and I think a lot of women that have started working with me, they were tired of being pressured to wear the
Mhm.
really skimpy stuff.
Yeah.
And I've always tried to meet models halfway, like what's comfortable with you? What look are you trying to accomplish? And let's make it happen.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure that it goes beyond appreciated, like with that. Um, Even too, like what I've seen a lot of people do, and I know I've done it, is like, okay, if there's like a really skimpy outfit, sure, I want to wear for a show. Um, but I know it's like either a really big show, because I'm not gonna lie, all the shows I've done, I'm still like self conscious, or I like still have
Mhm.
a little insecure. I'm still like kind of shy a little bit. It takes me a little bit to
Yeah.
warm up. But so I'll like wear a more like a cute out, like you said, a cute kind of outfit, shows a little bit, not too much, or like,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
then I'll set a time with a photographer or certain photographers I want to work with. Hey, I'm gonna change into this outfit at this time, and I'm down to shoot with you guys at this time, and just have it set like that. I've done that before, and I feel like that was really cool and helpful at events.
Yeah, that's definitely that's one of the things. I mean, I worked with models before where like in the instant we're like, oh, we're gonna work together. I'm like, okay, but you've been shooting with everybody with one outfit, and she's like, why didn't you bring anything else? I said, all right, hold on, and then we end up like finding like a place that had something, and we put together an outfit, like, and
Oh,
then so that
cool.
I could shoot her in a different outfit than everybody else.
Yeah.
So it works. It just you have to know what you want to see, and then and how it complements where you're at, the environment, everything like that. And I think the one of the big things is that as a photographer too, I think it's part of our job to make sure you guys look good. And I mean like
Mhm.
within class versus just wearing skimpy stuff.
Yeah.
Because we're the ones that are really putting your stuff out there. And
Yeah. And then too, I feel like the photographer taking or posting the picture, I do feel like the model will get a lot of heat, but I do feel like photographers get a lot of heat too. Like, they'll get a lot of heat for like, oh, why are you taking her picture like that, or why do you have her out there looking like that? Like, you guys, I feel like get the same amount of heat. So
yeah, I mean, at times, I think like I said, so when I do the shows, one of the things that I've trying to teach people too is that it's more like marketing. Like say you have like merchandise or you have a website or something you want everybody to go to. One of the reasons why you're out there modeling is so that brings attention to you.
yeah.
I wear my shirt with my logo. I'm taking pictures of you. I know, and I've said this in another interview already, but I already know most people don't care about what I'm doing. They care about what you are doing, and they
Hmm.
want to see the pictures of you doing it. So what happens is that when I wear my logo, when I wear my stuff, and they want to find you, they're gonna go, "Oh, that guy was taking pictures. I'm gonna see on his social media." Then they look, find whatever pictures I post of you. Then they go to you, and then they add your page or stalk your page or whatever. And but they go in there and they start following you because they start looking at all your pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
So it works out as a photographer. It works out as a promoter. It works out knowing that okay, there's people that want to see certain models, and there's people that are like dying to have some of these models pose with their car.
Yeah.
And so when you have a promoter and you say, Monique's gonna be at this car show, and everybody's like, oh hell yeah, I got a mural of her already, and I want to take a picture with her and stuff like that. I mean,
Hmm.
there is a lot of people that want the models there,
Yeah.
regardless, and that's
And
that's what.
I feel like sometimes that's probably the only times people will get to meet them, like
Mm,
get a chance to see them or meet them, or even different models and photographers that have been wanting to work with certain models. That's the
mm,
only time they'll get to connect,
yeah,
or network and stuff. And I feel like too, even businesses, there's a lot of clothing brands out there, that want to work
mm,
with certain models. Like I feel like, I'm sure like even photographers too, like, our DMs are sometimes flooded, we'll miss a chance, so we'll miss a message or so. And so
mm,
then we'll meet them in person and it's just like a more comfortable, like, oh, I met you, like you're cool, like yeah, I'll work with you, type thing. So
yeah,
I think I like to go there for that too, because I really get to meet everybody.
absolutely. And like where I've done well is like basically how I met you is because I met you through Ruthie
Hmm.
because that was the Atlanta event, and then she brought me out there and brought you and a couple other models. So we all network once we build a rapport with each other, and I think I tell that to a lot of photographers. I've had them ask me in the past, like, how do you get models to shoot with you? I'm all, you got to build a rapport with them,
Yeah.
and or it takes like one model. Then if a certain model that you trust says, "Oh, I shot with him already. He's hella cool," or "I shot with him already and he's a creep," that
Hmm.
shit matters, and people don't realize that.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you look back at when you began, something you know now that you didn't know when you first began, what would it be?
Something I know now. Um, I don't know. I That's a really good question. I would just think it's gonna accessing people is a lot easier than you think.
Mhm,
Like you get in connection with a lot of, like, you can meet a lot of celebrities at car shows, like, artists,
mhm,
musicians, famous car club owners, or stuff like that. And just how you carry yourself. How you
mhm,
carry yourself is so important, and how you act when you meet these people is so important. Um, I've always been very big. I kind of knew this already, but like when I started, or I just didn't want to be that girl starting off.
Hmm.
Um, but now I see how important it definitely is to not be that girl, but not to be like a fangirl, not to
Yeah.
idolize these people, you know, and because some people will take advantage of you and your work
Hmm.
and just don't, you know, you don't want that to happen. Be strong in your boundaries, definitely.
Yeah. Don't get yeah. Don't overwork yourself
Mhm.
for the fact you get to
Yeah,
be
just for
around people.
yeah, for people who you think are like, oh my gosh, these amazing people. Like people are people at the end of the day, you know. Like it's cool to be kind to everybody.
Hmm.
Um, you know, just because someone has a name or a certain following, don't treat them better or feel like you have to bend over backwards for them. You know,
Yeah.
just respect your own boundaries.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
And so, any upcoming shows you plan on going to soon?
I feel like not that I know of right now. There is a lot of shows happening. Summer's around the corner.
Yep.
I'm very spur of the moment, so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to that one.
Okay.
So I'll see, you know. But yeah, I'm excited for summer and even just the cruises. I'm like excited just to even go to those. I feel like that's how I started off, like just going to the cruises and people being familiar with seeing me around
Mm.
and just wanting to take my picture and stuff. And like, yeah, I just feel like that was a really cool way to start off for anybody who's wanting to start modeling. But yeah.
So, so tell me more about that. How so that is that how you got started? Is how exactly did you get started in all this?
Yeah, so I got started with always wanting to attend car shows, but I
Hmm.
never had any friends that liked it. And I did meet a friend, and she started going with me, and then one day we are just like, F it, let's do a like our own shoot, right? And so
Okay.
I reached out to she had like one of those cool cameras, those expensive. And then we reached out to a car owner who was following me, and I was like, oh, like let me just see, you know. And I also too, I did offer payment. I was like, I offer payment for anybody's time, okay? So I
Hmm.
was like, hey, you know, but he was cool. He was like, no, like I'll just do it. So he came through and we just did a do it yourself photo shoot. And then this one specific picture really took off, and I just started going to shows and meeting the people who started following me after that and just getting connected. Like I said, meeting them in person, you know?
Hmm.
And yeah.
You got invited after you get that picture. Did the people start like inquiring on modeling or it just
Yes, and but I was still kind of like unsure on how to do all of it. So once
mm,
I started going, once that picture hit, a lot of people in the scene started following me. So I
mm,
followed them back, and I'm like I'm an observant person. Like I like to like study things, and
yeah.
so I was kind of like just looking at how they went about it, or like when they would like photographers were booking models, like, you know, sometimes they would post on their story like, oh, looking for a model, and like I was just seeing how it went, you know, before I fully like immersed myself in it. And
Mm.
then I was like, let me just go to like the cruises and meet these people and see these people in person, you know, and like catch the vibe. And yeah, that's just how it started.
It's good. And that's I was saying sometimes at the shows we have there's models and then there's spectators, right? And
Hmm.
then you know, and you notice things. We notice things, right? It's like sometimes somebody brings their lady and their lady looks better than some of the
Hmm.
models. And you're just like, God
Facts.
damn, like but and then it's like whether you have the guts to approach, in a respectable manner. Hey, would you ever be interested in modeling and stuff like that?
Yeah.
And I've seen that happen. I've known models, and that's exactly how it happens. And you just
Hmm.
meet by being there, and
Yeah.
I guess ultimately it's like either people are going to appreciate it or they're going to hate. And that's kind of
Yeah.
where like the whole modeling thing is like, are people really hating on the modeling or are they utilizing it as to undermine other people or but for me with what's going on right now where they're questioning or they're making let's not exploit the models and everything like that. They don't realize that as a model you're a person, you're a human being too, and you're making an outright choice, but you can't sit there and use somebody like what they do as a weapon. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's where part of what this topic is to see you as a model. Women that choose to model are human beings, they're in it for a reason, whether people understand it or not. You're comfortable with yourself. Of course, we all get nervous, right? Like
Hmm.
you said in the beginning, but once you get into the mode, look at all the things. I mean, that Atlanta show wasn't the biggest show in the world, but man, we got some great content that day.
Honestly, I thought it was so fun, and it was such
Yeah,
a
it was.
different environment. The people, like, people are people, and like, but just the way they talked, and just, I don't know, I felt like they appreciated it, or like, I felt appreciated.
Exactly.
And also too, I did want to ask you, when you say, if you can like elaborate more, when you say undermining, like using the models or whatever to undermine, what do you mean by that?
Well, what I mean by that is that it seems like this whole subject about what models are wearing and how people don't want to see it at the shows, or are they going to start asking models not to, or to cover up and all this, and not be so, um, and like I said, I understand like lingerie or whatever like that, but there's been show promoters just recently, and this go back to the topic, and I just don't feel that it's a fair thing to use the models to like downplay somebody other another promoter's event. I don't, and I've seen where another promoter, now they got to ask because they're part of it. They jumped in and said, "Oh yeah, that shouldn't be happening," but now they have events too, and now they have to backpedal on what the models do at their own events.
Oh,
So they
okay.
opened up a can of worms that now they can't be a hypocrite, and they have to say something about.
Yeah.
And and what that does is it's turning it. Basically, you guys are like, what's the word? What's the word? Yeah, innocent bystanders and all this shit.
A little bit, yeah.
So that's my point. Honestly, that's really my point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Because if if a woman feels like they're being taken advantage of, especially in like modeling and stuff like that, they're not gonna be out there.
Yeah. And
So
it just, I feel like it's just kind of, because again, like you said, even just meeting the people, working with people, like the word of mouth thing. So if a model has a bad experience at a show or with a promoter, they're gonna voice that to other
mhm,
models or just people in general. And then that starts a whole another hate train. And that's the last thing we need in like our community. I
yep,
feel like, yeah, sure, like the community has had their little individual little spats and stuff amongst people, but as
mhm,
a whole, I feel like we've done better at just being united.
yeah,
And I feel like this is an issue we need to figure out how to get united on, because there is, like myself, there is a lot of girls who just like to go, for the culture, the vibe, and
mhm,
just meeting people. And I feel like for me, this is um just the most I've ever been a part of something. So
yeah,
I feel like it means a lot to me, and I feel like there's other models that feel the same way. So, I
absolutely,
don't want that any like bad, like anybody to be triggered by seeing, a model and what they're wearing and kind of like ruin that experience for them.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like anything else. Like, there's the family that will sit there and go, "Oh, take a picture with my son." The 5-year-old, 10-year-old, 12-year-old. A lot of times the kid's more nervous to take a picture with you than the parents are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then there's the people that are like, "Oh my God, there's kids here," and
Mhm.
but that's anything and everywhere,
Yeah.
right?
That's honestly too, because I will admit, I mean, I'm in a sweatsuit right now, but but when I go out, even just like regularly, I dress a little, I call my style hoochie comfortable, and
Mhm, mhm.
I go to stores, I go to
Yeah,
stores and stuff, and I'll get stares, but like that's just what I like to dress and wear. There's
yeah,
kids everywhere. Like I'm not gonna,
yeah.
that's I
It's
don't know.
not the
I'm
target
not gonna say
audience.
that.
It's just at the end of the day, it's not the target audience, and it's no
Yeah, it's
different
not the
than being
target
on the
audience.
beach in a bikini and there's families
Yes.
there. Mhm.
Exactly. So it's kind of like you're not gonna take your kid to the beach anymore. Are you gonna tell that girl to cover up because you brought your kid? Like, I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
when I have a kid, I'll understand one day. But I don't know.
yeah, but I mean, it's even I have like my son will hold another camera and record me while I'm
I
taking pictures of the
love it.
models, and
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I do know the difference. Also, know most of them. It's very rare that I don't or I'm not familiar with a model that's gonna act like crazy, like stripper, go all out like
Yeah. Yeah.
that. I would, then I would be like, no, I don't want my kid to. Yeah, I don't want to hear it from his mom either. But it's a respect thing, right?
Yeah, and I also feel like too, like when there is kids around, their girls are not like doing the most. I feel like they know how to act. Like, like
Yeah,
yeah, maybe their outfit is whatever, and that I know that's the topic of this, but they're not doing anything else to like, attract attention or like, I don't know.
yeah, exactly. And that's the whole thing. So if the woman's wearing something that's like pretty sheer or see through, but then the adult parents are like, "Hey, my kid take a picture." That's that's on the parents. I
Yeah.
mean, ultimately, right? And if they don't
Yeah.
see anything wrong with it, they don't see anything wrong with it. They're not doing anything beyond that. It's a damn picture,
Mhm.
and no one's doing
Yeah.
anything crazy or inappropriate. That's the
Yeah.
point. It's the point is that you can sit there and try to throw it on everybody else, but we take accountability for what we do and what we find appropriate. But we also have
Mhm.
the ability to walk away,
Yeah.
walk in a different direction. Just
Yeah.
look. Because no one's chasing people down in lingerie to take. Hey, I want to take a picture with your husband or or your
Yeah.
baby or any of that shit. It's
Yeah.
all stuff that it's part of the culture. It's all in fun. It's to show, look, oh, look at you took pictures with so and so, or took pictures with so and so, and one of these days, yourself, you never know. You could end up being a movie star or something else like that, and people want like I took a picture when she was modeling at a car show.
I know, very true. And I asked like a few, friends and people, girls even.
Mm,
I was like, when you think of car shows and how models dress, like what do you think? And a lot of people said, "Oh, to show more skin." That's what I've
mm,
always seen. And so it's kind of like, okay, so like this issue, if you consider it an issue, whoever considers it an issue started a long time ago.
yeah,
So it's kind of like now this is just what we associate it with, whether you see it as good or bad, but like why do you want to change it now? Like what is it in yourself that's bothering you about it? That's what I see it as.
yeah. Because is it like, then that's when it goes back to: is it really about the car shows? Is it
Hmm.
really about the models, or
Yeah,
is it just whatever you can throw at another person to try to ruin their business? And what
definitely.
happens again? It's still not fair to the women that are modeling.
Yeah, definitely not.
It's if you want to sit there and talk about exploiting a woman, guess what this is? You're exploiting the models because
Hmm.
you're utilizing what models do at shows to try to screw up someone else's business. And
Yeah,
that's exploiting women, that's exploiting the models, and you're doing it again. They're not asking you for this help.
yeah,
You know what I mean? They're not asking you, someone needs to advocate for us because we're,
yeah.
being exploited at the car show that I drove to and I changed into that
Yeah.
outfit for it
I
and the
I
camera I
picked
stood
this
in front
outfit
of.
myself.
Exactly, but I'm being, I need you to advocate for me.
Yeah, no,
And
definitely not.
and that's why I say, like, the lowrider community is not politically correct. We're not we That's the whole reason why lowriders are lowriders.
Yeah,
They're not designed to fit in. They're not to be normal, to meet the
exactly.
status quo.
Yeah.
And that's why I think a lot of mainstream people have a hard time marketing, or like, big business. They don't know how to utilize lowriders because you have ex gang members, you have people that look like gang members, you have models, you have all that in the culture, and to us it's normal.
Hmm.
And they're like, well, that's not normal. That society says, but that's their part of society, or that's the politically correct mainstream stuff. Lowriding is not that at all.
Yeah, I mean, didn't they just, I saw a post that was like, "Oh, low riding seemed more fun when we weren't allowed to, when it wasn't legal, or something like that, right? Because it just
Yeah,
recently got like
I saw
we
that.
all got the okay. But we for a long time it wasn't okay. Like, they weren't. No, we weren't allowed to cruise, and now that we are, now people are just wanting to bring other issues. Like,
Yeah,
why can't
exactly.
we just, you
Well,
know?
it goes and even that subject right there, it goes into now we're kind of like we brought it back into their attention.
Yeah.
So you had cruising. Long story short, cruising came back because of COVID because you couldn't do anything. So we had the cruising, cruise by, drive by, birthday parties, weddings, and everything else.
Yeah.
Cruising came back mainstream. Then people start complaining about, oh, cruising's not a crime, this and this and that. So then California says, okay, we agree.
Hmm.
But now you brought everybody else's attention back to lowriding and cruising. And in some places that did not agree with California, different cities, now
Hmm.
they're going out there and they're pushing the issue even more.
Yeah.
So once again, it's like, hey, I'm doing something I'm not supposed to be doing. Look at me. Like they
Yeah.
forgot about me, but now I want to go get more attention again. So then now they can start messing with me again. And that's
Yeah.
what people are that's what they mean by that. It's like it was more fun when it was illegal
Hmm.
because we went and did shit. And now everybody wants to do cruising and everything else like that. And they're drawing more attention. And
Yeah.
this is the same concept. What I'm saying with the modeling is they want to draw more attention to the way models dress and everything like that. And is it going to benefit?
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Uh
I
huh.
mean, is it going to benefit the the people that are interested in it or not?
Yeah.
And then now they have to answer to that too because if they were calling another promoter out for it, now guess what? Now he's being these other promoters on the side of saying whatever they were saying. Now they have to hold themselves accountable,
Yeah.
not look like a hypocrite.
Yeah.
So there's a backlash to that, and that's the backlash of making. Let's go make a point about the cruising, but now look at now these cities are like, well, we could still enforce it. We
Yeah.
can enforce all this stuff, but we're not. Yeah, it's not illegal to go cruising, but it's illegal to park on the street. It's illegal to do this. It's illegal to do that. It's illegal to have hydraulics. Once again, got to be careful what you wish for
Yeah.
because there's
Definitely.
consequences for that too.
Definitely. Definitely. You make really good points. I don't know. I'm interested to see what comes out of this. I
Mhm.
mean, I don't know. I feel like you said, we're not meant to fit in. I feel like there's gonna be still people, girls. I was like, okay, like you're gonna enforce this rule. I'm gonna find a way around it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna cover up enough,
enough.
or like, but still show something. Or I'm gonna do this hour, over here in this private
Mm.
shoot, but still at the show. Like they're gonna find ways around it. Like
Oh
we
yeah,
always do. We find ways around everything.
that's true. That is definitely true. So you don't have any no definite bookings yet right now or
No
anything?
definite bookings right now. I've been kind of I haven't really put myself out there to be booked, to be honest. I'm just I feel like people who know me personally, like if they reach out and want to
Mhm.
book, and I'm like, yeah, sure. If I've already worked with them, I'll do it.
Mm.
But I've just kind of been I'm a procrastinator, so I was like, oh, it's summer, let me get in shape now. So I'm
Yeah.
in no rush, to be booked. So I'm like, I don't feel confident right now, but it's all good.
Okay, okay. Well, I think once June and July comes up, I think there's gonna be some better
Yeah,
events.
I'm
So yeah,
excited.
I'll definitely touch base with you when I go down that way, and we gotta get some more pictures for this year.
Oh, I love that. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
something.
I can't
So
believe Atlanta was like last year already. You say just last
October.
year. It's crazy.
I know it's going slow and quick because I'm eager for a couple of events, but there's a lot of stuff in between, and
Hmm.
then the weather has been weird, but
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this year. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Remember, everything's how you make it.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I want to thank you again for your time. I want to thank you for coming up on here. Once again, this is another PJ podcast because I had to figure out a funny name for this, right? And this is a model's view. This is going to be episode 2 of series 2 with Monique. And appreciate everybody that took the time to watch this once it goes live. And please share, go follow Monique on Instagram. And once again, thank you for your time, Monique.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, I'll see you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Pinches Lowriders.